Welcome back to part 2, or as we call it in the industry, oh shit, we forgot to record an opening.
Yeah.
Because I have people that aren't in the business and they see it and they're just like, I don't get it, dude.
Oh, but on top of it, to be sure and to be certain, is also like a sludge fest too. I mean, it's a shit fest. But,
Absolutely.
It's a massive shit fest.
Absolutely.
There was a movie called. Do you remember the movie Foxes? Who remembers Foxes?
Of course I remember.
Yeah.
Foxes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I like to say to people, you know what? It's not just because it's grimy 1970s, like everything in the 70s was grimy and dark,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But that is a true depiction of what real Hollywood looks like.
For sure.
You wanted what it looks like that, maybe a little worse now, and yet still happening behind closed doors in garages, in warehouses, off the course of whatever. There's magic happening.
Mhm.
There's movies being made,
Yes.
TV shows, and so that's
Hollywood
the
is
excitement.
proof that you can polish a turd.
Yeah, true. Isn't it unusual though as well that it's a place of dreams and nightmares all in one place?
Absolutely.
Because it's like you can make on a dime, someone's life can be turned around and a dream comes true, and yet also you hear about the stories of a complete nightmare of happening to someone that, you know, you hear about the, you know, poor children in the industry and stuff like that.
Mhm.
What kind of like precipice or whatever is this that it's somewhere between heaven and hell?
It absolutely
Isn't
is.
that
It's
intriguing.
it is.
an
you know?
incredibly intriguing way to look at it because
Yeah.
you can feel that energy walking down the strip.
Mhm.
You know that there's
Yeah.
there's things happening, and
I think Lynch tapped into some of that with Mulholland Drive type of
Oh, he absolutely did.
for
I mean, I
sure.
get that now.
Yeah.
Now being here and I'm aware of like, wow, like it really is like there's something here like you can get swallowed by it, or it can
Or
go the
spit
other way.
out.
Spit out, yeah.
You know,
But it can go the other way as well, and it really depends on who you know.
Oh,
but
you can
also
sink or
be
swim
safe.
very fast in that town.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to stay safe and
Yeah.
and have people around you that are good for you as well.
You know, we did a show recently, a pretty emotional show. And I mean, I was telling him there were people that I knew that are no longer on this earth because of that town.
Oh,
It chewed them up and spit them out, and they had nowhere to turn, but they chose to end their life instead because of it.
and you keep hearing about people like the guy from It Chapter 2. Like, I don't know why he killed himself.
I know.
And you're like, it's not like someone that's like been trying to get back in after 20 years or
Right.
something. Here's a guy that had, for every reason right now, what is it? And then you look at him, and maybe I'm looking at it now in hindsight, but you look at his eyes. So I'm very sad about
Yes.
him. He
He
had sadness, didn't he?
always had that look.
Yeah.
He did.
So what happened to this poor
yeah.
guy? And that's Hollywood again. That maybe even after all that happened to him, and he should be in a happy place, maybe the realization hit me even harder that, like, even with like me getting the very thing that I wanted, I'm not happy,
Mm-hmm.
or something happened to me that I can't even change this.
Mm-hmm.
That's deep within me. That's happened to me.
Yeah.
So
No, I mean, a lot of creative types are so steeped in just trauma,
yeah.
you know, and demons. And I don't think that ever goes away on any level. Most creative types, they do have some sort of quality like that
Yeah.
inside of them,
Mhm.
you know,
I could see that. Yeah.
unfortunately,
That's true.
you know.
Well, I mean, yeah, one of the scariest ones for me is Robin Williams.
Oh,
because-
yeah.
You've got this persona that's so much larger than life and so gregarious and so funny and always on,
Mm-hmm.
and then that happens, and you're like, him,
Yeah.
him. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and then, like you mentioned the guy from It and
Mm.
Sinister and all that. You know,
Yeah.
he was Deputy so and so in
Yeah.
Sinister. He looked like a sad guy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
he was on the rise
Right.
Yeah.
because he'd been in Black Phone and Black Phone 2, I believe, even, you
So
know.
what's so saddening that, you know, there's got to be
right.
something
You're like,
deep
this
there.
guy, his star was starting to
Mhm.
shoot, you know.
Yeah. No, you never know.
And it's
You know, you
just-
never know what someone's going through.
never,
you know.
never.
You know what I'm worried about now is, aside from his face and that, and I don't know what was going on with it, but Jim Carrey's, I don't want him to be another,
I don't know what's
because
going on
his
with him. but
purpose is, he knows, and he said for a very long time that he's done all the things he wanted to do. And he's lived all the lives that anyone could only wish for. And he said all these things that he wished would happen to him in his life. And unless he finds something, I think soon, like, I don't want anything to happen.
No, I know, because he could definitely become another statistic.
And he's another
story.
one that's gotten in front of it a lot too, and spoken very candidly
Yeah,
about
you could tell
his
just-
depression.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and he's also spoken about the horrors of Hollywood.
Yes, he has.
You know,
Yeah.
the higher ups and the way they operate and what they do
Oh,
and what they're
that's so
capable of.
fascinating. And to anyone else thinking, oh, he's another one that's gone crazy. It's like,
Yeah, no.
There's some fucked up shit going
No,
on.
yeah, that's the problem too. Is that like it's easier to just dismiss someone as crazy because you don't really want to take the time to understand.
Oh, dude, recently I watched It Been Years, and I wish it kind of went a little bit further, but I mean, shit, this may be the reason why Kubrick fucking died, but Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah.
We've talked about this.
Fuck, dude. I didn't have to go back and re-listen to that because...
No, I mean, we've talked about it off the mics.
okay.
Yeah.
I have to, because I was just talking with Connie, and you know, like we'd get into these deep conversations going for hours, and then even look at Late Night with the Devil, and you're like, oh yeah, he knows stuff.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
people
That's
know
not just
stuff.
coincidence.
No.
No.
And you're
In
talking about
fact-
the stuff happening in the woodlands that
Yes.
stuff really happens. And,
Yeah.
We talked about that recently too, and how I was because Tina went down a rabbit hole about a certain place, and I was like, "Did you notice that in Late Night with the Devil?" And she was just like, "For real?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Mm.
And I'm like, "But he was coming right out and saying it," and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Now I'm worried for that guy."
I know.
You know, sometimes
But you might make a deal with the devil in that sense that it's like, oh no, he's okay. He might be safe. You know,
Right.
like, who knows? We don't
No.
know. I'm not saying nothing, but
Yeah.
isn't that interesting that when you say boldly stuff like that, then all of a sudden Kubrick's dead, right?
Yes.
yeah,
And then if you say stuff like that, the only reason you're protected, why are you protected? Because maybe you're part of it. And
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's a scary thought.
It's a very scary thought, and it's very real too, because it's not just coincidence that this happens over and over and over again, and everything is shrouded in such mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, it's got to be a red flag, and I'm sure a lot of people are just like, no, I'm in my own lane, and this is where I'm going to stay.
Yeah.
Because if I switch lanes and I open up something that I'm maybe a little more powerful than me, I'm going to be gone too.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it's a very interesting town, Hollywood. That's why I choose to live where I live. You know, out
Just
here
outside
with,
of it.
with the horses and the cows and the cowboys. You know what I mean?
Talking
Like
about that.
in the middle of nowhere, because I can be there in an hour and a half, 2 hours, but I can also come home to, you know, just a calm, laid back small town.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it helps keep me grounded, because when I was working there all the time and I was wrapped up and I was doing the parties and I went down a wrong path myself,
Yeah.
you know, and it
So
literally
you could see how easily.
it
you know.
too easy.
Yeah.
It too easy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy how it's one big magic show. Like they really will show you this beautiful thing,
Yeah.
then you want to acquire it. But while you're looking, they're like sucking the life out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
luckily enough, I got to a certain point, because I only aspired to be at a certain level.
Mm.
I never had aspirations of walking a red carpet at the Oscars.
Mm-mm.
I never wanted to do any of that stuff. I wanted to achieve a level of success, and I feel I did what I needed to do.
Well,
you
you're
know-
still going to come back though, right? We're gonna
Well,
do more.
well, see, this is what happened was I walked away from it.
Yeah.
I walked away from it maybe a couple years before COVID.
Yeah. Yep.
I even told him, I was like, I'm done. I'm going to open the shoe store and I'm going to fucking sell shoes, because it was killing me.
Right.
The town was killing me.
Yeah.
You know, it was, you know, ruining my marriage.
Mm.
It was making me fucking delusional about reality.
Mm.
There, you know, there were times where I'm like, I would come home and the wife is literally saying, here's normal chores of take out the trash or do this. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? You know what I was doing all last week and where I was and who I was with? Like, and you want me to take out trash?
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's just
Wow.
like, then there's this moment where you're just fucking snapped. You just snap out of it,
Yeah.
you know, and you're just like, holy fuck, like I'm one of those assholes.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
and so I literally had to say, fuck this, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know,
You know, that goes back to what we were saying about dipping our toes in something, but
Yeah.
getting back out.
Right.
And
For
as long as,
sure.
like you say, you're out, you can come in, do what you need to do. Okay, I've got my piece, and I'm straight back out. Here's another piece, I'm straight back out. And it's like I live in a small town too, and I grew up in a small town
Right.
in England. And I tell people that it's literally like a British Dawson's Creek, you know. But that's probably the reason why we're grounded people, though.
Right.
You know, and we're not used to this type of. And I can only imagine what that's like for, like you say, people growing up in that, and that's the reason why they act the way that they.
That is exactly why. Or you have the people that they don't have a support system, and they're dropped into Hollywood, and maybe it is just a good looking face, and the sharks see that, and they will take them and chew them up and spit them out, and now they're not even a shell of their former self.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people in the business that they're attached to massive movies, and they don't have enough money to pay rent.
That's just insane. And you know what pisses me off is like the fuckers that literally have no input whatsoever to the movie or movies or whatever, or any creative, like, and it didn't come from their writings and it didn't come from their performance or anything like that. And they're the ones with their fucking expensive homes living God knows how.
Yes.
And meanwhile, the person's like, oh no, they got to pay this off. They got, oh, I'm only getting paid for tours.
Yeah.
Or when you hear about Black Sabbath, didn't get paid for the first 4 to 5 albums they created.
Right.
I'm like, wait a second. Every album that they created, the biggest ones, they
Arguably their best work.
and they didn't get paid for them.
And we were just talking about the music industry.
Yes, we were.
You know, and
you
this
know
is
that album they called Sabotage was named after because they were sabotage.
yes,
Yeah.
And it's like, how fucking dare you, fucking pieces of shit?
absolutely.
And any industry that what is this? Music, movies, whatever it is. And this is why we love those movies like They Live, Society and stuff, because it speaks to what the fuck is going on.
You're
How
absolutely
is this normal?
Right. Right.
And what is going on?
I was recommending to Brad one called Starry Eyes.
Oh, I've heard of it, never seen it. I think I might even know someone behind that. Or
Tough watch.
Is it?
And it's just about a girl who aspires to be an actress, and when they find out that she's willing to demean herself on camera, they're like, "Oh, she's the one."
Right.
And then she's brought into a society.
Oh, okay. Now I want to see this now. I'm in this
It's
mode of thinking the last.
and it's the same thing where you're just like, "Oh, the cost of a dream."
Yeah.
Holy cow.
And anyone will do it.
Yeah.
I think today,
You have
this
to-
is the sad part, people, they don't have anything and they want to be famous for nothing.
Right.
And yet they'll give everything for themselves of that.
You got to be self-aware enough not to let it
Doesn't have to be that
peck
way.
at you.
No, it doesn't.
You know, and
No, it doesn't.
it's I'd like to think, you know, in the 10 years or so that we've been goofing around with all of our stuff, that, you know, I've kept my head on a swivel.
Well, yeah, no, you absolutely have, and you have to. I have quote unquote friends, in the industry that I've opened my house to them, and you know, they've shot movies and fully taken advantage, you know, and fully stab you in the back.
Fuck.
And it's like, okay, but with that comes a sixth sense.
Yep.
You know, your bullshit meter, it's working perfectly. You know,
you got to be able to read people, though.
you absolutely have to.
That's just, there's a level of naivete I think that people have, that they can't read a person.
Yeah.
And, you know, you have to put the naivete aside, kind of get a little cynical about it, and really look at the way someone's talking to you and whether or not they're probing for a weakness that they can get their claws in.
Yeah, it's also sensing like, whereabouts can I see the real person in this? Like, what would it take for me to see, is this an act right now, or is this the real deal? You know, like,
Right.
Yeah.
It's scary because, you know, just like the line in Goodfellas, you know, your enemies come with a smile. They come as your friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and it's true because, you know, I mean, I have people that I worked with, you know, that are well-known actors, literally fuck me out of gigs that I was perfect for, like for directing big things. And I was screwed over by this person. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, royally.
Wow.
You know, like I had written a perfect script. I met with the team. They fucking loved it. They were into it. And then he stepped in and no one even asked for his input and sabotaged the whole thing. And I was out.
Did they take your story as well?
No.
Thank God for that. At least it's
No,
something.
for sure. Yeah. But
that's
and I'll
terrible.
tell you what it is after, we do this. But, and here's the thing, that even though I still own that story, there's nothing I can do with it because of the attachment.
Right.
Okay. Because of the characters, and you'll know why, after the fact. But it's just like, fuck, dude, we were cool. What the fuck happened? You know what I mean? Like, we had worked on projects and shit. I'd done shit with you. Why did you do this to me?
Wow.
And even the guy that he got to direct it, pretty much was like, dude, are you cool with this? And I'm like, it's not you, bro.
It's this guy.
It's this guy. There's nothing I can do. And I'm not going to tell you, hey, fucking don't do it. That's stupid. You know what I mean? Like, go do it.
Right.
But then I also got calls from someone on this project going, this is a fucking nightmare. You should be doing this.
Yep.
You should be here directing this because this is a fucking joke.
Wow.
And so I can take that as like a tiny win.
Yeah.
But it's also like, you got to know your plan. You know what I mean? Of like, okay, what I'm willing and not willing to do.
I think that's the thing, like we were talking about earlier, that you want to gather people around you that you know well enough that they are good people. There's nothing toxic there. Their sides, if there are any sides. If there are any sides, then awesome.
Yeah.
And then you have the collective of people that you love and care about, all working together, and only something good can be made from that.
Absolutely.
If you're lucky, you might even, you're already going to succeed by creating it and making it. But wouldn't it be even more amazing to succeed, in all this love that you've made together, to have something succeed to a point that everyone's happy,
right?
Financially, even as well.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, wouldn't that be an amazing change? From all the shit bags that are always making crud, and then you've got stuff that comes out all the time, and it's only because of that crud. I'm thinking, you know what? If this piece of shit can be made, then there's still a place for me.
Of course there is. Absolutely.
Because I'll make something better. Because there's always a place for good stuff. There's always a place for people that have made stuff that are not, like you were just saying, people that don't deserve it. There's those people as well, and then there's the ones that's just terrible stuff. And it's like, the good thing about,
and they make money hand over fist.
Oh yeah, and the thing is about streaming, I think, is one good thing about it is that anyone and everyone can make movies now. Whether or not you do something good is who the right people that you meet with.
Yeah.
The good thing is that if you've already got a collective of people, i.e. we have our group of people,
right,
and we take to whoever we take it to, they might be a shit bag, or they might be another person that we can then have
right
on in our group. Imagine that. Now all of a sudden we're a collective with every facet in Hollywood, like all the facets that's needed to make a movie, that we won't get screwed from here to there.
Yes.
And it's not us versus them, but it's all of us together. And then, hey, let's all go make a movie. Okay, that went really well. Let's go make another one. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be the way that it is.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't have to be the way. And it's going to take people like us to actually make that change.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Otherwise they're going to keep running the way they do. And I honestly think we're all in this position right now because each of us have been burned in one way or another by someone in this business.
100%.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And it's like, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, well, in my opinion, I've always been a fan of the term real, recognize real.
Yeah.
And I've met those people where I'm just like, God damn, are you phony? You're being so phony and fake to me right now. This is crazy, And I'm just like, okay, cool. Like, I've turned down so many gigs just because the level of like bullshit is just, it's insane, that some people give.
Yes.
So
and it's like, do you want to get in bed with that person for 6-8 months
of course,
on a project? Because,
oh God, can you imagine?
It's like this, I can't tolerate you for this meeting. How am I going to tolerate you the entire the entire process? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's I think it helps you hone a bullshit detector.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And it helps you weed out and vet who you want to work with and who you don't.
Right.
And who's going to be beneficial to your career and who's not.
Yeah.
And I think that's super important to have.
Yeah.
That you can only get if you surround yourself with the right.
Absolutely. Because like I said, it'll be a cold day in hell before I take notes from a composer. It's a joke. It's a joke.
No, it's a buddy.
A friend of ours is a composer, and he's done a lot of fucking great movies. And he had given him a script. I'd given him a script, and he was like, I want, let's meet up, and I'm like, what?
Is this the guy I know? You told me about?
This is Harry Manfredini.
I knew you were going to say
Yes.
that. Okay.
And I remember driving down to the meeting with Tina, and I was like, if this motherfucker is going to give me notes, I'm going to lose it. And she's like, he's not going to give you notes. He just wants to talk about the script. I was like, okay. So we walk into the restaurant, and there he is. And, hey, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. We sit down, and he pulls out papers. Like, I got a few notes. She grabbed my leg underneath the table and was just like, I was like, motherfucker. I was like, hey, you just make with the fucking keys and like, you let me do the movie.
But make with the fucking keys.
But it's funny because after, we've become really good friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's a great person.
Was this how you met him originally?
No. Another filmmaker had introduced us because he was looking for studio space and we were looking to do a project and we wanted some music for. And so another filmmaker had brought him down to a studio. We had owned a studio here a handful of years ago, like a nice big space to shoot film. And so he came down to the studio and we hung out and we actually did become like kind of fast friends, he and I.
Right.
And like, so we clicked pretty well. And I had told him about a script that he had written, and then I told him something that I had written as well, and maybe we could do music for it. And he was like, "Yeah, for sure, send it to me." So, I mean, again, hey, you know what? His notes were good enough for Sean Cunningham. They're good enough for me. I do love Harry. You know what I mean? Like he's a great guy.
Only a friend, like you can get away with it when it's a friend.
Exactly.
In this case, you'd already slightly become at least.
Yeah. Well, he does the music for our show is Harry Manfredini.
Our theme is.
Oh my goodness!
I don't know if many people know it, but it's unused Friday the 13th 3.
Yeah. So my favorite Friday the 13th is part 3.
I know someone doesn't like the intro music. Yeah. Is it you, Jace?
No, I love it.
Oh, okay. It's fine. Who doesn't like? Oh, Harry doesn't like.
Harry doesn't like.
Harry doesn't like.
He doesn't like part 3. The song. He hates it. I
must admit, the first time watching part 3, all of a sudden that disco beat
I love the fucking
like,
disco.
What's happening?
Oh
right
God!
It's 1982.
Okay. Yeah, you're like, oh my God! It's the fucking best. Like I love it. Like,
so this one's gonna be fun.
Yeah, we tell the story all the time, but it's just every time we get in the car with him, I'll always have it queued up.
I know.
And he'll just fucking shooting daggers in my fucking face from this.
Bitch.
But I told him, I was like, man, I would love to have that music as our intro. I love that.
Yeah.
And he was like, I got you one better. He goes, this is a rare demo, the first version of part 3.
Whoa.
He goes, I own it. It's mine. You can take it. And so if you actually do play Friday the 13th part 3 and then you play our theme, you're like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Did we ever talk about and I'm sure you guys must have asked him at one point. I don't know which one came first. Was it Friday the 13th or the Children? But there's some themes obviously from the Children that's the same as Friday the 13th. Was he just playing with them at the same time?
I forget. I think the Children was like 80, 81. So
was he
Friday was first.
Yeah.
And then when he made that decision, that's the good question here. I love that you talked about Trauma a few days ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that was actually a Trauma movie.
Yes.
And that doesn't have. I mean, there might be a little bit of cheesiness in it. It might be a little bit of comedy, but unintentional for most part.
It's kind of a dark flick.
If they'd have gone down that path, I wouldn't have minded that either. Because you guys are talking about what makes clearly Trauma and the icon of, Toxie and everything.
Right.
Absolutely. And by the way, don't you think that Lloyd Kaufman is the indie Mel Brooks?
Absolutely. 100%.
I don't know if anyone's ever said that before, but that's my thing.
Yeah,
no, you nailed it.
Yeah,
I've always looked at him as that.
Yeah, I see it that way.
I mean, I love Lloyd.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
I know we've all had interactions with him. I have a friend that shot a movie with him. He's very giving.
Yeah, I've never met him. I've always wanted to.
Oh, you've never met him?
He's a trip.
You definitely should change that because he's fucking crazy. And he is down for anything, man. Like, I mean, like my buddy, like when he told me like the idea he had for Lloyd's part in his movie, it's basically going to be like, he's like, dude, it's basically going to be like me and Lloyd making out. And I'm like, what the fuck? And like, he's like, I hit him up and he was just like, yeah, fuck it, I'll do it. And I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like, and the way they shot it, it's even more funny than, so there's no making out, but it's like,
right. I can imagine. Did he do like the whole fake, you pretend you're getting off with a woman and you do the hands on the
dude,
shoulder
I got to show you guys this movie because it's fucking, it's hilarious, and that's the thing is like Lloyd was just down. He's like, well, look, I'm going to be in town these dates. If you can book me,
right.
Let's do it.
Right.
And of course he did. And
he's exactly what you see when he's like, greetings from Tromaville.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And there was never one time of, well, how much are you going to pay me? It never came up. It never came up, and before they did shoot, my buddy was like, look, there's no budget. He goes, I don't care. We're making something. It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
And that's an amazing spirit.
Cool guy.
Yeah.
And to have that spirit after so long.
Yes.
Because he's been in the business like 50 years.
Yes.
He's earned the right to be bitter at this point if he wants to be.
And he hasn't, he hasn't.
Yeah, I heard you guys were saying that he's still got that same enthusiasm like he always did.
Yeah.
I think that's the one thing that Corman didn't have. I think Corman, he might have continued that for a while, but I don't know if he did as much as Lloyd Kaufman still seems to have that. You know what I mean? It hasn't gone away.
No.
No, the exuberance. Because Corman, I think, was more business.
Yeah.
He was making similar fare. He was doing exploitation.
Corman was definitely worried about being frugal and getting that return on the investment.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because there's that story about Humanoids from the Deep where he's like, this isn't going to sell unless we put in some more gore and some tits.
Yeah.
And the director was like, no. And I guess he did it behind her back.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, now it's a cult hit. So he knew something.
He knew what was going on. Yeah.
He knew how to make a buck.
Yeah. No,
He
there's certain people in the industry like Lloyd, like Roger, when they make suggestions, you need to take them.
Cohen.
Yes, Cohen for sure.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's one I
absolutely.
wish I met. I really wish I could have.
Yeah, he only
Shook
just
hands
passed
with
away last year, wasn't it?
It was a couple years ago.
Ago. He was a fucking madman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was reading about him actually.
I
was a
really,
madman.
really wanted to meet him.
Another great story. I told it on the show, but it's just so funny.
The stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were at a convention.
Just talking about the stuff the other day.
Oh, dude, he was great, and he would sell the stuff in the cups.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love this story.
And this
so
lady
much.
was walking by,
Uh-huh.
and she's like, "What are those?" And he's like, "Oh, it's they're props from my movies." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And she walks away, and he picks one up, and he fucking throws it at her,
No.
bounces off of her, and she turns around and looks at him. He goes, "You can have it." It was fucking crazy,
I
man.
would have loved to have seen that. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, fuck.
there's certain people that like I want to see that movie. I want to see the movie of his career, and that's
Oh,
weird
King,
enough.
King Cohen.
You know what?
Yes.
Must
It's
see.
like Ed Wood. It's like Ed Wood, right? Like, there's enough people like in the cult classic or cult horror that like love him, and it might just be just for us because we love movies,
Right.
Maybe not everyone, but it's weird enough and interesting enough that like enough people have seen Ed Wood, even though no one knew who Ed Wood was. Perhaps a lot
Right.
of people didn't know who he was before that movie, unless you're a
Sure.
major horror fan.
No, I obviously with my age and
Mhm.
seeing Ed Wood when it came out, it made me retroactively go back and search his stuff
exactly.
out.
Same. So, like, I would love to see a movie on that. That's interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And here's another idea, right? Behind the guys that did the EC comics back in the day,
Yes.
the fact that it was down to the horror comics that actually put the comic book code in place,
Mhm.
and it was because of them. Where's that movie?
Yeah.
I want to see that movie. The kids were like us back then in the 1950s. Stephen King was like that back in the 1950s, along with George Romero.
Right.
In the reason why
Yes.
Creepshow came out of that. So I want to see that movie about those guys, Gaines. and
Yes. Yeah.
I'm trying like hell to
No, I know. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot to talk about after the mics.
Yeah.
So when the mics go off, we're gonna have a lot to talk about.
I think I did bring this up once before. I'm thinking that there might be an update here.
Yeah, no, there will be for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. No, because it's. I mean, and that's the same thing. Is like the same cloth that, that trope you were talking about. We're cut from it as well.
Yeah.
We love EC and we love obviously Romero and King. And that whole thing. I mean, that's just dude,
it was a major influence on me.
absolutely massive.
I've
massive.
said it many times. If it wasn't for Creepshow, I wouldn't be sitting in this room talking to you guys right now.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember I was 8 years old and there was some, oh man, what was it? Some camping experience or something with Cub Scouts something. Anyway, we did some jog, walk, run, but it was late at night, and we went all the way across this old creek. You know, I remember it being pitch black, and it was creepy, and we were all walking back, and we were all had to stand like a single file as we were walking back to this camp or whatever it was. And I remember telling my friends, yeah, this is great and everything, but I can't wait to get back home because I just recorded Creep Show on TV last night.
Wow.
And I'm telling them, yeah, it's going to be great. Like, I think I remember seeing it when I was really little. Like, and I was already young then. I was already 8 then, but I remember seeing it when I was even younger. And I'm like, and I was telling them all about it. I was like spooking them out because it was already dark and we're already like past 10 o'clock, late at night, walking back in the middle of nowhere with all these other Cub Scouts, you know? So that was my vivid memory of like the beginning of like, I remember Creep Show, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, such a great movie.
It is.
It's so much fun, and it shows how pliable horror can be.
Yeah,
because it's just you can have fun and scare the shit out of someone all at the same time,
and have a point.
You know, filled with irony.
Yes,
you know, it was just to me, all roads point to Creep Show, and that's.
So, what was your introduction then? Like before you decided I want to be a filmmaker or I want to do comics, you're just a kid, okay? What was it? You know, going to the cinema, like at home, like video stores, like what first grabbed you?
Yeah, so again, so I guess the first thing that I ever watched was Horror Dracula, and I remember this was that long ago that my dad had Betamax, right?
Sick.
Those tiny little
Fucking
video
rad.
tapes, right? And I guess it was on TV or something, and it was going to be recorded, and my mum said that I couldn't watch it and because it gave me nightmares, and I said, look, you just told me that I'm going to have nightmares. I listen to everything you say because you're my mum, so of course I'm going to have nightmares now, so thank you. But regardless of that,
you might as well let me earn them now.
Yeah.
so she let me watch it if I remember or something, and that was the earliest experience that I remember of a horror movie. And I remember at the time absolutely just blown away by, this is scary, but I know it's not real. And even back then I was trying to figure out, like, I don't know how he did it. I know it's not real.
Right.
It's a movie, but it feels real and it's scary, but I know it's not true. And I'm telling this to myself over and over and over. And I just remember that distinctive scene of Peter Cushing doing that. It's completely like run at the end, jumps at the curtains, pulls it down. The light comes beaming, and you're just like, and he did his own stunts as well.
Yeah.
And
this was low budget.
Yeah,
you know, these were just low budget films,
right?
Yeah, and so I can remember that scene, and that was my first introduction to. Okay, and then I remember when we moved from, that was a long time back, so I must have been 4 or 5, because when we moved when I was 5 or 6 to Brightlingsea from there, right? And then I remember when we got there was an old abandoned movie theater that was no longer there, and it's now a surgery now, doctor's surgery. But at that time it was an abandoned movie theater, and I was thinking, man, that would have been great to like to have been here when that was here. And
for sure.
And basically my friends and I were all like, I remember at the time my brother's 4 years older than me, and I think I was 7. So and I remember them saying, yeah, you know what, we should make our own movie. We can use blood from those berries. We can make blood. And they were just kind of pissing around, right? And I'm like, yeah, we should make a horror movie. We should do it.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that early on,
the fuse got lit.
it was already, and I look at my kid too now, who's now 11, and there's little pockets here and there, and I'm wondering which one's going to be the thing that he's going to take with him. But for me, the early little marks right there were little marks of like, or seeds of inspiration or ambition or whatever that was. And then I look forward then to when we were making movies ourselves and just going out there and just doing it. That seed was already set years before, and I was that kid in school that was like, oh, you want a horror movie? I got a horror movie. Okay, it's 50p. Give me 50p for a day, and you can have it overnight. And I had my videos, collection and everything. Right,
Fucking cool.
And you guys, like, someone literally Facebooked me about 5 years ago and said, oh, John, by the way, I never gave it back to you, but from 1998 I still have your Ferris Bueller's Day Off video.
So like, counting inflation, how much do I owe?
No shit,
a big late charge.
No shit, wouldn't that be great? Yeah. But yeah, I missed my videos, and you guys were talking about like the Blob the other day. I had that on X Rental, and you remember the X Rental tapes, man? Like, you buy a video from the video store, and apparently they only have a certain amount of like reviews you can have on them. That's the reason why they were cheaper.
Right.
And they'd always tell you, like, bring back the video because otherwise you owe me $60. And you're like, why the fuck is it so much more? Because it's supposed to be endured for, like, I don't know, thousands of views.
Yeah.
That's the reason why the X rentals are worth more,
Right.
other than the fact that they're massive and clunky. I didn't
Yes.
like the idea that they were massive and clunky, but now, though, you're like, I see why they're worth more, and they should be worth more, but I had the blob on X rental.
Oh, no shit.
I
Wow.
don't know if it's still there, but it could still be. It's been in the attic for many years, and it's the temperatures killed it probably between cold and hot, cold, hot, cold, hot.
Yeah.
Cold. But who knows? That some of those fuckers might still be there. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
My mum.
I hope so.
If you find them, get some pictures. That'd be cool.
Shit,
Yeah.
man. Have you got any video players? I need some sort of a system to take back so much stuff to here.
Yeah.
Never really had the money, never had the time, really never had the means and wherewithal to be able to do it. But I got videos and all kinds of stuff, man. Like and they're just sitting there. I don't know if they're dead. I don't know if they're durable. I don't know.
That's a terrifying thought.
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because our collections they're so important to us.
I know, and I'm looking at all these videos in here, and I'm like, oh, they could have been me.
Yeah.
I've already got that little fraction right there. That's my one little shelf, right? That's what I have at home.
Yeah. Well, like I said, this is why I'm divorced.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude.
I'm not. So, did you just start comics here in the States?
So I did, yeah. So I long story long, we'll come all the way back around. But yeah, so I came out to doing films and stuff for a while there. One of my short films that I did got on like 17 film festivals, and it got like best sci-fi film, and this whole aspect that we have with like, hey, if we get on all these different film festivals, somewhere along the way we'll get an agent, somewhere
Right.
along the way we'll get the opportunity to make a movie.
Yeah.
And like it kind of didn't happen. Once again, you got to do everything yourself. Like that doesn't just happen the way you hope it will.
Right.
Even with having all these wins, even with
Yes.
having so basically from that, like again, I was kind of in a limbo there for a while with trying to get the movie off the ground. I'm gonna damn well make that movie, by the way. And I think I briefly told you on it.
Yes.
And I'll go back to another time. But it was nominated for best horror screenplay as well by Shriekfest at one point. It was in there at least. And it was in a limbo state for a while. So then out of that, I thought, you know what, fuck this, like waiting so long for shit to fucking move with this particular producer at the time. I thought, you know what, I have to create. Like, I can't just be in this mindset of like nothing's fucking moving all the fucking time.
Right.
Just because this person works this way, I don't work this way. Like, there's got to be movement. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
So I thought, you know what, I'll get my stories out in a different way. And that's when I decided to do comic books. And I've always loved comic books. I got into comic books around about 8 or something like that. So about, 3 or 4 years after getting into horror movies. This is the cool part, though, now, is that the original comic book owner in Colchester, the closest large town to where I grew up in England, he still is there. It's moved from there now, but it's still in the same town. And the fact that I've email him and say, hey, I'm that kid, like,
Oh, how
remember
cool.
me? And
How
like I make
cool.
horror comics now and stuff, and he's had my stuff in, and my mum's come to get some comics and
No.
stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's that stuff that it's not about how many followers and fans you have. I mean, with every small group of people is amazing to me. Just the fact that they're supporting us, just the fact that there will be people at conventions that will go maybe out of their way, or maybe they'll just be there and come by and they'll want to get the latest thing that I've done. That's incredible to me. But to go back as far as that, though, it all goes back to, wouldn't it be great to have your comic book in a comic store? Having to be the comic store that you grew up in as well.
Right.
It's like, wow.
That's surreal.
yeah.
That's such a cool thing.
Yeah.
It's great.
No, that's always the goal, is that we say the same thing, and it is nice when you go to Amoeba and like you'll pick up a movie and it's like, oh shit, I'm in this, or I worked on this, or
Yeah.
whatever, it's
Yeah.
cool. It's
Yeah.
fun. It's a,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, that's to me, like I that's the payoff, having something that I worked on a shelf, I can pick up and watch it and like, oh shit, I remember that day. That was fun. We did this, or, whatever it was,
Yeah.
that's the cool part. The money is obviously nice for sure. That is, but yeah, it's just the lasting effect, of being on set and stuff.
Even I get a kick out of the fact that Maternal is on Tubi.
Yeah.
you know, I'm like, you know, I mean, if I'm just a few scrolls away from like The Exorcist, I'm in the same,
Right.
you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like, that's
it's
me on Tubi over there.
It's a sense of accomplishment. You
It
know what I
is.
mean? Like it's
Yeah.
really cool. So how did that happen then? You know, did it fall in your lap or did you seek it out? You know, it's like I'm gonna create comic books.
Yeah, I just thought like I think I needed something. After my wife had passed away at that time, I just thought, you know what, like art has always been there for me, like in writing and whatever. Like I remember even as far back as like, you know, God knows, 20 something years ago, whenever I remember breaking up with a girlfriend thinking, I'm gonna write a screenplay and like write her out of my life, you know, like so like I already was starting the script, and then I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna write the script. And by the time I was done with this script, and it was like I don't normally like write a romantic movie or whatever, but it was like romantic drama or action. Well, it wasn't really action, but it was a coming of age kind of romance movie or whatever it was. And I'd scripted this like I'm talking 20 something years back at that time, because at that particular point in my life, I thought that person was like, you know, like, wow, like this is as good as it gets, not knowing that things always get better.
Yes,
and the people that you
absolutely.
meet always get better as well. But like, so I think that's where I relied upon when my wife passed away. I was thinking, you know, it's like creativity is so cathartic, and it was there for me. My kid was there for me, and my creativity. And I think in those two things, that was just, I leaned towards all of that, and I think I got some of the best stuff. Like, well, not the best stuff, but definitely this the springboard right there began, and then I just needed to find who would look at it, you know, and that's where it starts. You try to get hold of a publisher, and it is a hard go, because my God, it's just like films. Like you want to submit somewhere, it's like no solicitations.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's just like, fuck you then. You
Yeah.
know, I'm sorry, I don't give a shit. I'm going to say that now.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? Like, what does it fucking take, dude? Like, and if it comes down and you have to do it yourself, do it yourself. You know, if that's just as good, and it's working for me in many ways as well. But the fact that I can say that I've done both, I've done stuff that I published myself, but also done stuff that have been published. So clearly, it's not just you being an asshole and being biased, like, well, I think it's good. It's like, no, trust your opinion.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, it's not you being an asshole. Like I mean, if other
confidence.
people, yeah, and if other people enjoy that, then it only concretes, like, literally that what you already knew. You've watched enough movies, you know what makes a great movie, you know what makes a great story, and especially, you know, through that, what makes a terrible one and what makes something more original. So, and from that leverage, I think the more places that you publish, the higher up the ranks it can get for you. And I think that's kind of like, again, with filmmaking, it's similar to that. So that's what I'm kind of doing at the moment. The more places I work with, the more established, I guess, it becomes. And my whole key was in the beginning with comic book writing, which took off quicker than filmmaking in a way. Filmmaking took a long time because you're spending months and months and months, maybe even a year or two, making a movie.
Yeah.
You take it to the film festival. Okay, great, awesome, bye.
Yeah.
Go back to straight back to the drawing board again, and then just to get a little praise, and then you fuck off again.
Right.
Meanwhile, with comic books, the cool thing is about this goes me everywhere I go. Like, I can take a comic book to a convention and people are seeing it for the first time. I could go to another convention and they want to see what else I've done. So the fact that it took off and you're actually getting to see people enjoy what you've done, that's such a better praise.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because
Absolutely.
filmmaking, otherwise, you have to get to such a level where publicity and everything is finally acknowledging what you're doing.
Right.
Unless you get to that point, no one knows, and that sucks. That you spend, not that you need other people to acknowledge what you're doing, but it's just nice to know. I'd like to see what people think of what I've done.
Right.
Yeah, and by people saying, "Man, I really love this," or "I read the end of what you wrote here about what happened to you." There's a deep message in there, and it's like, miss me talking to the reader as a human,
Right.
And someone literally said, "I deeply connected to that," like, and it's like, wow, like I didn't expect that. So, the more now I've gone to conventions, the more I find that it's also about giving people not only inspiration, but they're coming to you because they see you as a, not only, okay, you're a writer, but you're something in a different place than they are.
Yeah.
Like, wow, I'm that guy now a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's great, so that I can help other people, you know, say, don't be scared. Like, go out there and try.
You can do it too.
You can do, yes,
You
you
know.
really can.
We met at a con.
Exactly. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
And it was instant. I love you.
Yes,
So-
likewise. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it was funny because, like, we were just doing our quick coverage,
Yeah.
at Creep IE. And, like, we were just filming, like, you and a partner, you guys were, you
Yeah, it
had
was
a
Jay
table.
and Brant.
Yes, you guys had your booth. And
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to come back. I remember telling Tina, I want to go back and check out the shit. It looked really cool, And then we talked for a bit.
Mhm.
But we really, I think, clicked and became friends
Yeah.
at LA Comic-Con.
That was 2 weeks later. Or so,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Now get this. I don't know if we mentioned this before, but here's the crazy thing. Okay. Okay. I'm going to go into my partner in a minute.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't know if you know this other bit, but right next to me, the reason why people kept lining up and then actually were looking over at our horror shit is because our other mutual friends, right, who works at Custom 2 Designs or whatever, Designs, were there next to us as well. And they became good friends of ours.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it's like, we didn't know that at the time. I didn't know who they were.
Right.
I was just looking across thinking, we're a good spot here. We're right next to where the horror T-shirts are.
Yeah.
They're looking at the horror T-shirts. They're looking at our horror comics. Maybe they'll pick up a horror comic while they're waiting in the line, So then, like 2 weeks later, I meet my partner for the first time. But at that time, she was just looking at my stuff, and I was just flirting with her and everything. And then Brad and Tina come over. I'm like, oh, great. Like, I remember them from 2 weeks ago. And these guys, we were talking for hours the week before when we were at CreepyCon. And it was so funny. Brad had a look on his face. Do you want to say this?
Oh,
Brad?
yeah. So we were talking forever.
Because we finish each other's sentences.
Yeah, I know. And I told Tina, I was like, okay, let's go get some coverage of the floor. So I told him, I was like, hey, we'll be back in a bit. We're gonna go make the rounds because LA Comic Con is fucking massive.
You're right.
Like, it's huge. That main room you're in, it was massive.
Yeah.
So we up and down the whole aisle, just filming, getting coverage, and back and forth, and then we come back to his table and we see a girl at his table talking to him, and I was like, and I like put my arm, I was like, wait. Wait, because I was like looking, I was like, I felt it. Like,
Really?
it wasn't just like someone picking up a comic. There was something going on, and I was like, let's do another lap.
Yeah.
Let's leave it alone.
He was right.
We walked around again.
Yeah.
Another lap, like in probably another 20, 30 minutes, came back and she was still there. And I was like, oh shit.
You were right.
Yeah.
You were right.
I was like, here we go. And I told him, I was like, it's going to happen. Watch.
So
And
that's
it did.
so cool. And
Yeah.
so you were literally there at the birth of that.
Yes.
So you not only were there for that, we met 2 weeks before that, and then 2 weeks of that, right next to us was the T-shirt people.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm trying to make the connection with these T-shirt people. These are the same T-shirt people that do my T-shirts.
Right.
So we've got a really good connection with them, and now he's since done the T-shirts for Connie's dance department at the school.
Oh, nice.
Right, and they're actually. And by the way, we got the artist who's Ho-Che Anderson, who is the artist and writer for the Martin Luther King authorized official graphic novel adaptation
Wow.
of his life, and he actually won a Harvey for that.
Oh my
And it's like,
wow.
I've got to get this guy to do, like, I mean, like, I know it's only like a middle school thing,
Yeah.
but this is the thing, like, her work is so amazing in that, and I think them just knowing that he's this amazing black artist and that, and to have him actually do something of color on these T-shirts
Yes.
as well, such an important.
That's
I
powerful.
think, yeah, it is, and to see the dancers, and they actually won the last competition.
Oh, rad.
The fact
Cool.
they actually went from like, we got this artist, she had this idea, Connie had the idea of what it would look like, he produced it, and then it got made tangible in a T-shirt form. They're wearing them, they won it with that confidence, that she created with them. So the fact that, what is this orbit? That
Yeah.
I was sat at this table, you guys came over, they were to the right, left and right, I was covered.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are, we're all great friends. And then, which has now connected me to you, Jace, as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And Connie came in there 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
It was all within this 2 week, and I don't mean to get sappy, I don't mean to get all like into the whole horoscopal type things, but I think there's a pinch of salt in everything, right? Around that time, apparently there was, I don't know, it was like a new moon, or it was a eclipse or something within a 2 year gap, 2 week gap. And that came back round with that first time we met, that then culminated that 2
Wow.
weeks later. And
Wow.
like, whoa, there was definitely something there.
That-
And
yeah.
now here we are.
Exactly.
I'm sitting here with you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We're great friends and everything. And
Yeah.
it's just like, wow, like, and I, you can't deny whether you grew up religious or not, which I didn't, there's something going on.
Absolutely.
And in the universe.
I definitely believe in kismet.
Yeah.
For sure. You know, absolutely. Everything happens for a reason, the way it was supposed to happen.
Not like the way Limp Bizkit said it.
No.
God,
Right.
fuck no.
No. No. Right, Richard?
Everything happens.
Thanks, Jonathan. Now I want to break stuff.
Well, I just remember his stupid phrase, everything happens for a reason. I'm like, oh, God. Shut
Yeah, and look,
up.
and now here we are on the verge of another journey. Right now, you know what I mean? Today, we're starting
Yes.
another chapter
Feel
of doing
it.
something creative, you know,
Yes.
that's going to it's going to bear more fruit, you know, for us.
Definitely, I feel it.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited about that. Like I said, we've been trying to do this forever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad it finally happened. Man, dude, it was, I learned a lot. I learned more than I expected,
Same.
you know, and I hope the audience is enjoying it as much as we have,
Yeah.
you know.
yeah.
No, it was a great couple of shows there.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I'm hoping you'll want to come back
Oh, my God, you kidding
and do
me?
this again.
Yeah.
Anytime.
We'll have to do an update show, what we're about to go embark on today.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we'll have to touch
We
base.
didn't even touch upon, folks, what we're thinking, what we're dreaming.
Right,
of
and we will, you know, we will do that.
Yeah.
But before we go, is there anything you want to plug as far as, you know, new books, something out there, you know?
Okay, well, I think by summer and fall time, I'll actually have some actual stuff out there materialized at the conventions and things like that, and hoping to obviously see you guys there.
Yes.
Maybe we can share a table. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I think by the time summer, fall time comes, I would love to tell you that there will be a bunch of stuff out. I'm hoping.
Cool. Good.
I definitely know that by then, Horror Not Hate, which I was a part of, which was a great book, horror anthology book that's got a whole bunch of different short stories in there by different people. I had a story in there, and it's all for a good cause. It went to charity. It was all basically against racism, fascism, and what's been happening
okay.
lately with all the freaking ice shit. Basically, it was going to these different charities.
Okay.
And we were working essentially for free on
Yeah.
all that, but it's such a good cause and that. So I definitely know I have copies of that at the convention soon. Definitely probably going to do CreepyCon. Definitely going to do LA Comic Con.
Cool.
Which other ones? Hoping by then I have something set up with Critical Entertainment called Moonlit Palms. That's being created right now. I don't know if it will be made by then, but I'm sure there'll be other things as well because there's so much going on right now.
is.
And I don't know how I'm going to have free bodies to be able to create all these things, but I'm going to get them trying
Yes.
to get all these things done
Yeah.
by the end of the year. And man, I want to get Never by Night Volume 3 done too. So
Amazing.
I've got
Yeah.
to try. And also one last thing, I'm also doing a different separate thing on the Ohlone people. Where there's basically a tribe that was considered in the 1930s extinct in 1938, but there's actually 500 still existing tribes members left, and they've had to prove with DNA that they're still here.
Wow.
And so basically,
And that's real.
this is for real.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're a state recognized tribe, but they're not federal recognized tribe.
Oh.
So when you see
okay.
them in the history books and that, they're not there. Why? Because over 90 years ago, or 80, 90 years ago, they were said, oh, they're extinct. So they didn't even check in with that. So that's fucked up. So I've been in contact the last couple of years with a young tribesman from there called Henry Munez, and he read my graphic novel that I did with heavy metal, which is called The Boy Who Conquered a Mountain. And he said, I would love for us to get together and to tell our stories of the tribe. And what's different about this is every tribe has different stories, but these guys actually date back to the Carmel. They originated over there, and you never see often stories of the native tribes from the coastal areas, and they have completely different stories. So what we would do is we want to do a mini series of like a few issues that would then culminate to a trade paperback, and I can imagine this being in colleges. I can imagine this being not colleges, in schools and libraries and stuff like that. What would it take to actually make something here that not only the stories from different periods of time from their history are going to be now made tangible and never forgotten, but from this maybe even take to the federal government or whoever it takes to say that they not only exist now, but we're telling their stories here in this way, starting off in comic book shops, with the issues, and then it becoming a trade paperback in libraries and schools or whatever.
That's awesome.
To take it on another level And there's horror in these stories.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. There's
Right.
horror there because this is the tragedy of American history.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's more real than that? And that's the scariest of stuff. But then you've also going to have stuff that there's going to be stories there of beauty, of what was so amazing about this tribe and what is so amazing about this tribe and what we're doing for future generations with that. So this is definitely a completely different thing almost for me. But in a sense, not, because a lot of my work also touches upon, the human connection or human stories or human, or in a case of horror, I always want to make sure that the characters are something that can be relatable, that anyone can see themselves in almost. So, so this is definitely a different pathway thing, but I would love to have at least issue 1 of that done. Who knows? It's a whole nother different journey that I'm doing right now.
But you are currently working on it, though.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hoping to get funding, maybe a grant for that. Who knows?
Yeah, please keep us, posted on that. So, because I'm very curious about that.
Yeah,
myself.
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
So
And I like the route you want to take with it and everything. It's
yeah.
that could make an impact.
I would love that. I mean, different anthology stories of their history dating back hundreds of years, and how things had changed when the Spanish came over, then eventually what would become Americans, obviously, and then the change, the shift where religion was trying to change them. God, man, like I mean, just reading about that, and we're not going to hold back.
Oh,
It's gonna
good.
be warts
Okay.
and all. Like this is no just history stories. These
It's
are
not a
gonna
puff piece.
No, this
Right.
is going to be like, this is the truth.
Yeah.
Here of what we know of, and there's going to be stories on their, of their what their beliefs on their creator as well, on their mythological stories as well, dating back hundreds of years. So we're going to be jumping all over the place. It's also going to have bumpers in between of artwork by the Ohlone people, whether that's going to be of their old historical art or it's going to be modern as well. And so, and we'd even take this to powwows as well as conventions.
Okay.
And stuff.
Okay.
So we want to do something different
Wow.
with this, and man, I can imagine even being a TV series from. Imagine every episode could be, actually have an historical impact for
Right.
TV series.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
Thanks,
I mean,
man.
you're
Yes.
definitely preserving a history.
No,
Because 500 people is not many.
I know.
no.
Yeah, it's no, it's not at all. And you know what? There's been so many different things that I've seen. I won't get into it now. There's probably not enough time, but another time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That has pointed me towards also doing this as well, along with all the other things I've been doing. I think that it all comes back to that whole being open-minded to, we're not fully aware of how the universe works, but we know that it's looking out for us, or that there are things happening that we're maybe not aware of, but if we look close enough, and we pay attention, there's things sometimes we're supposed to do.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree with that.
I think, that's a great way of thinking.
Rad. Awesome. Well, I can't thank you enough for doing this.
Absolutely.
Oh man, this has been so fun.
Cool. Good.
Yeah,
That makes me happy.
Yeah, and hilarious and horrifying and
Yes.
fun.
It's all of it.
All of the above.
That's what we want. That's exactly what we wanted.
What an
Perfect.
experience. This is great. guys.
Great. Then I can't wait to have you again.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being here.
Awesome. Until next time.
See you guys.